Welcome everyone to Gestalt Poetry Open Mic. Thank you for being with us today. We gather to speak up and out, be silly and serious, and to have a wonderful afternoon of poetry. Today we have a genius, hilarious, satirical feature poet, Jeff Cottrell, and open mic, and then I'll read a bit, just a little. So that's what we're looking at. There's someone else coming in. And I did put in at the beginning, let me put that in again in case, well, you could probably see it, but that March 26th, our feature poet is the fabulous and erudite Finn Hall. And there also is Gestalt on Facebook. There's the link. And then my link to my website. You can go to writing for events and publications. So first off, we have our feature. Jeff Cottrell is a fiction writer, poet, journalist, and spoken word artist based in Toronto, Canada. He has headlined in countless literary series throughout Canada, the UK, the US, France, and Ireland over the last 20 years. His performance style is influenced by slam conventions, but subverts them with wit, ironic humor, and a satirical tone. Over the past year, he has been published in international anthologies and featured in poetry podcasts from the US to Australia. His poem, This Is Not Real Poetry, is currently nominated for a Pushcart Prize, and his 7th or 8th attempt at a first novel, Hate Story, is coming soon from Dragonfly Publishing. And you can visit his website. I will put this in for Jeff. Oh, there it is. While he begins. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Amy. So I will start with a piece called What Slam Poets Want. Hey, kiddo, come here. I want to talk to you for a sec. That was terrific what you did up there, huh? Crowd sure loved it too, and so did the judges. You sure got away with poetry and stuff. I just wanted to introduce myself. Here's my card. I'm with the Teddy Wintergrass Agency in New York, and I'm always on the lookout for big talent like what you got. I really like what you've been doing on that stage tonight. I really dug that love poem you did in the first round. My favorite bit was when you described the person as, and I quote, awesomely awesome sauce full of awesomosity. Yeah, I really dig that kind of subtle wordplay. It's a rare gift. And that second poem you did about how misogyny is really bad. Wow. I mean, I didn't even know misogyny was bad. Look at the converts you're making here. But here's what I really wanted to talk to you about. Like I said, I'm always scouting around for big talent, and I'm already convinced after seeing you in only one slam that you've got that thing. Teddy Wintergrass is always looking for that thing. Everybody in the biz is looking for that thing, and you've got that thing. I don't even know what that thing is. I don't even think that thing knows what that thing is, but what I do know is you got it. So here's what I want you to do, kiddo. I want you to keep my card and give me a ring at your earliest convenience, and we'll do lunch sometime soon, because what I can offer you is opportunity, baby. You'll be so full of opportunity, you'll be constipated with it. There'll be so much opportunity, you'll be begging for a break, and you'll never get a break, and you'll be glad of it. How would you like to see your picture up on the billboards in Times Square? Stick with me, kiddo, and I can make it happen in a year. What about the movies? How about that big, beautiful face of yours up on movie screens all over the world? Moviegoers everywhere, seeing your face and hearing you slam your poetry, huh? I can do it for you. What about TV? Late night spots on the Jimmy Fallon, the Jimmy Kimmel, the Jimmy Colbert, huh? Whatever Jimmy floats your monkey, I can do it for you. How about a record deal? No more of those crappy home-burned poetry CDs, nobody ever listens to. We'll get you a deal with EMI or Sony, get you into a real recording studio in New York or LA. We can team you up with the biggest music stars of the day, too. How would you like to collaborate on a song with Hanson? Do the kids still like Hanson these days? Who cares? You can collaborate with somebody. Internet. Sure, I hear the folks are using this internet a lot these days. We can get you your own sponsored YouTube channel or whatever the new thing is. We can see to it that your Twitter is the biggest goddamn Twitter in the whole of the known world. People will retweet you until they can't take any more of you, and then they'll retweet you even more. Maybe they'll even find you on the AOL. Who knows? What's that? A book deal? Sure, I suppose we can get you one of those too, if that's the bag of wax you're panting for. But really, do people even read books anymore? I mean, other than that Daniel Steele lady, it's slam performance the kids are into these days, and we want to exploit that to the hilt of its peak, or the peak of its hilt. But hey, you want to be in books too? We can get you in books too. Maybe the kids can read along with your poems while they're hearing you speak them on your CDs and on the TV bits. Sort of educational, like, see? I really like to see the kids get educated. So kiddo, get ready to see your life change. I'm gonna see to it that folks from America to Australia, from the Arctic to the Middle East are hearing your slam poems. They'll know it by heart. They'll even dance to them. And think about how rich you're gonna be. Money, 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 money. Money. You're gonna have plenty of it. So give me a ring and we'll set it up. And the best part is you don't have to go to these dingy bars anymore and perform with losers like these folks. They're just suckers. You're better than them and you know it. Or at least you're gonna be soon. You're gonna be soon, kiddo. All right. I'm off to the club with Paris, Kanye, and my free mistresses. I'll be seeing you there someday too. That is what slam poets want. And what should I do next? Well, I've already flashed the CD, so I should do something from the CD. I have the CD for sale. I've been trying to get rid of these for 7 years now. I'll put the link in the chat about that later, or the info at least. This is called Safety Instructions. Congratulations on your purchase of the new Darwina 2022 microwave oven. Your Darwina microwave oven will provide first-rate microwave cookery for you and your family for years to come. Before you begin operating your Darwina microwave oven, please read the following safety instructions in order to maximize your continuing satisfaction with our product. Do not operate your Darwina microwave oven if the door cannot close properly or if it is bent in any way. Do not use if the hinges or latches are broken. Do not stand in front of the Darwina microwave oven for a long period of time, as this has been known to cause tumors. Do not leave an operating Darwina microwave oven unattended. Do not use a brown paper bag to cook popcorn, as this creates a risk of fire. Do not put your face or any other body part inside your Darwina microwave oven while it is operating. Do not bring your Darwina microwave oven into the shower or bathtub with you. Do not lift your Darwina microwave oven in the air and strike it upon your head repeatedly. This has been known to cause injury. Do not stand under a falling Darwina microwave oven after it has been dropped from a tall building. Do not place your Darwina microwave oven in a catapult and then have someone release the catapult while you are standing within the oven's flight path. This can be rather dangerous. Do not use your Darwina microwave oven as an ear-piercing tool or for home dentistry. Do not play catch with your Darwina microwave oven. Do not attempt to fit your Darwina microwave oven fully into your mouth or any other bodily orifice. Please do not fill your Darwina microwave oven with explosives, and then detonate them while you are within 1 meter of the oven and eating a deli stick. Do not hold your Darwina microwave oven while jumping off a high cliff and trying to fly. Do not hold your Darwina microwave oven while running into an operating airplane propeller. Do not use your Darwina microwave oven to help jam scissors into your crotch. Do not walk with your Darwina microwave oven late at night on random side streets in downtown Detroit. Do not attempt to tweak the nose of a wild grizzly bear while in the vicinity of your Darwina microwave oven. Do not use your Darwina microwave oven as a masturbatory aid. This is not necessarily dangerous, but it is a little weird. Do not attempt to operate your Darwina microwave oven while tied to a railroad track, dangling from a skyscraper, running through enemy fire across a battlefield, sticking your head out the window of a moving vehicle, playing Russian roulette, waving raw meat in front of a charging bull, diving into an empty swimming pool, eating Drano, drinking arsenic, horsing around in a room full of industrial machinery, or smoking. Do not attempt to operate your Darwina microwave oven while pulling the trigger of a pistol, only to find that the pistol appears to be out of bullets, and then out of puzzlement and curiosity, peering down the barrel of said pistol while pulling the trigger again. Thank you for taking the time to read the safety instructions for your new Darwina 2022 microwave oven. Every one of these safety instructions was created as a result of numerous tests involving a multitude of live human and animal subjects, many of whom were orphans, kittens, and adorable doe-eyed little bunnies. That was safety instructions from my CD. This album is named Fanny. And next up, I'm going to recycle pretty much the theme of the first piece I did. This poem appeared in last year's Great Weather for Media anthology, Paper Teller Diorama, and it's called How to Make Money in Poetry. I look in your eyes, and I see the shadows of eternities. They call to me like a wild wolf in the desert, like a burning hunger that cries in the night, like an autumn breeze dancing gently on my soul's white grave, like a whispered secret in the dawn of the sunset, like a sweaty-toothed cat ablaze in the midnight sun. I look in your eyes, and my heart races like a bitter fawn in the manger. And all I want to feel is your soft and gentle touch, as soft and gentle as the touch of Beauregard. Beauregard. Only the soft, cottony touch of Beauregard offers the complete satisfaction you want. No other bathroom tissue guarantees such a high quality and fast savings. Soft as a kitten, gentle as a lamb, smooth as a newborn baby's skin. America loves Beauregard toilet paper like no other. The preferred bathroom tissue of this year's national bobsled team. Go Biscuits! Beauregard toilet paper is available in 8 or 16 rolls or in the jumbo pack. Ask your local supermarket which size is right for your needs. Beauregard. Now back to the poem. We feel our breaths mingle in the air, and I can taste the sweet flavor of love in your destiny, like the sweat of a rhino yearning for better days, like the heart of a child beating for the memories of sour dolls, like the horns of a thief in the night shrieking for the ends of time, like the heat of a golden calf throbbing to the rhythm of the moon. We feel our breaths mingle in the air, and as a shuddering eye blinks in the Memphis sky, I feel myself crawl inside you with graceful symmetry. And I hold you close, treasuring your body and soul like a jewel, like precious jewelry from Nutty Neal's. Because Nutty Neal pays cash for your used jewelry. Cash, cash, cash. Gold rings, gold earrings, diamonds, silver, pearls, rhinestone. He'll give you cash. Why wait? Go now to your jewelry box. Bust open your safe deposit box. Bring all your jewels to Nutty Neal, and he'll give you the best deals in town. Even if it's broken or scrap, he'll buy it. With the deals he gives you, you'll have to wonder if he's nuts. Maybe he is. Call 905-555-NUTY right now, or drop by the shop at 663 Eglinton Avenue. This is not a front for anything sinister. Nutty Neal's Jewelry Emporium. Now back to the poem. I feel my love burst in a nutmeg explosion, kissing the night with a rainbow Nelson and a titter, like a filtered hallmark choking on the words of life, like a tricycle passenger with a nostril in heat, like a vampire shark and all that it represents to God, like an albatross that bought the wrong bus ticket while drunk, like a false witness to the deans of... Your ad could be right here. We're selling ad space in this poem, and this slot could be yours. With our help, you can reach new markets for your product or service. Advertise with us, and we will keep your business competitive and profitable. Great rates available for 30-second spots, 1-minute spots, even 2-minute spots. For a reasonable extra charge, we'll even grant you influence over the poem's content and themes. To learn more about how this poem can help your team maximize your revenue over the next fiscal year, call 1-800-555-POEM. Now back to the poem. To the deans of eternity, I surrender myself and pledge my love to you. This poem was brought to you by Bargain Jimmy's Chicken Nuggets. Bargain Jimmy's, serving you and your family prime chicken nugget goodness since 1953. And that is how to make money in poetry. Now, next up, I don't normally do new stuff in features, but I'm going to break that rule right now. I'm going to do a new piece. This is new and relatively untested. And what I did was I updated an Aesop fable. This is called The Ant and the Grasshopper in the Arts. An ant and a grasshopper were waiting to audition for a major stage remount of Hamlet. I'm sure to get the role of Prince Hamlet, boasted the grasshopper. You don't say, said the ant. I'm gunning for that part too. That's cute, said the grasshopper with a smirk, but I'm going to land it. You know why? Because I've got charm. Effortless charm and God-given talent. That's what my agent says. I've got a natural stage presence that can't help but win over even the most discriminating casting directors. They know I've got what it takes to draw audiences to the box office. What do you think of that? That's nice, said the ant. I'm going to count on hard work to get the role. Hard work? The grasshopper guffawed. Are you serious? Oh, yes. The ant waved his resume at the grasshopper. 20 years of acting experience, both stage and film. Not only that, but I studied at Juilliard under some of the greatest acting teachers in the continent. The method, the Alexander technique, I've long mastered it all. Huh, said the grasshopper. And besides, the ant went on, I already know the play inside out, and I've been conducting a thorough analysis of Prince Hamlet's inner motivations throughout the play, not to mention doing extensive historical research into what it was really like to be a young Danish prince in the Middle Ages, as well as the common behavior of people with depression and suicidal tendencies. This is how I'm going to achieve the most honest and authentic portrait I possibly can. The grasshopper laughed again. Sucker, he said, all that hard work is a waste of time. My charm and talent always get me by, and they will again now. Whatever, said the ant as he headed into the audition room. Good luck, grasshopper. 3 months later, the grasshopper had started his first day at flipping burgers at the local Wendy's. He was very depressed about not getting a role in the Hamlet production. Maybe the ant was right, he thought. Maybe I should have done all the work. pay my dues. Maybe that's how you succeed. The grasshopper had to use the bathroom, so he cut through the kitchen to get to the facilities. And there, loading burger patties into the freezer, was the ant. It's you, gasped the grasshopper. The ant turned to the grasshopper and nodded. What are you doing here? You didn't score the Hamlet role either? The ant gave an embarrassed shrug. They cast the producer's son as Hamlet, he replied. Wow, said the grasshopper. But come on, you didn't get any role in the play? The ant shook his head. The other roles just went to a bunch of dudes who are better looking than us. There was a pause as the ant opened another meat package. Well, that's bullshit, said the grasshopper. The ant just shrugged again. So, added the grasshopper, you want to apply for med school? So that's the ant and the grasshopper in the arts. And if I have time to do one more, I will do one more. And I just want to remind you that I do have a novel coming. It looks like this, and it's available for pre-order. So after I'm done my set, I will put the pre-order links in the chat and whatnot. So one more piece, and it's an oldie, and it's a piece called Review of This Piece. Review of This Piece by Jeff Cottrell begins rather unimaginatively, with a straightforward literalism that desperately wants to emulate the tone of an educated critic, using terms such as literalism and emulate for effect. By the second sentence, you realize you're in for some kind of postmodern self-reflexive parody, but Cottrell quickly undermines the formal tone by switching you to the second person for no reason. The piece carries on quite aimlessly, dragging on with the same theme, with an overly complex sentence that runs on and on and on and on, with no apparent sign of its ever having been edited right down to its most tight and clear and efficient form of verbal expression, but rather choosing to be redundant through repetition, more repetition, and saying the same thing over and over in different ways. Then finally, there's a shorter sentence, but the damage has been done, and Cottrell finds himself flailing at the end of his first paragraph, yearning for a clever closing remark to make a transition, but unable to come up with even a modestly catchy turn of phrase. At this point, Cottrell seems to be aware that he has shot his whole load in the first paragraph, and thus for a cheap laugh resorts to such crass, vulgar imagery as shooting one's load. Then the attempts at clever self-reference continue, but without any real accomplishment. Like a starving man reaching for one solitary breadcrumb he knows won't help him, Cottrell throws in a poor simile. On top of that, his attempt at a metaphor is a pathetic wounded animal, and his penchant for cliches leaves something to be desired. Cottrell cops out with the smug trick of pointing out various literary techniques by using those very techniques, but even supposing that were funny, he ruins the stunt by explaining it openly. The worst part is there's no payoff. Where is this leading to? Does he really think changing the tone with rhetorical questions can save this mess? So on to the second page, the piece continues, and Cottrell is once again just looking for filler. You almost get the impression that he's trying to stretch the whole composition out to a full 4-minute length in order for it to fit in with many of his other stories and monologues. But he can't do it because there just isn't enough substance behind the theme to sustain a piece of that size. And even if there were, Cottrell would be better off simply ending it right there and leaving his audience wanting more. But does he have that kind of restraint and self-awareness? Of course not. He just keeps on writing and writing and writing, wasting everybody's time with the same thing over and over and over and over, even though he's clearly running out of fresh ideas. Even when he does finally come up with something new, the grammar he uses is real bad. In conclusion, Review of This Piece is a formulaic and forgettable flop, complete with gratuitous alliteration. It's just another one of Cottrell's contrived, indulgent, overlong, one-joke monologues without any real soul behind it. If only Cottrell had the courage to challenge himself and write something from the heart, without being satirical or relying on a bag of clever but cold, shallow gimmicks, perhaps he could make some significant progress as a writer beyond the realm of Zoom open mic nights. But alas, if this is the best he can come up with right now, he is doomed to a lifetime of literary obscurity. And even if Cottrell is satisfied with that, the least he could learn to do is come up with better endings. I'm scrolling, but I don't see anything more. I guess that's, yeah, that one. Thank you. That's my set. Thanks so much for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to put some fun links in the chat for you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Just hilarious, imaginative, delightful storytelling, and you flesh out every concept so well. And just really grateful you're here with us today. Thank you so much. Everybody give it up.
Thank you for having me, Amy.
Hey.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Awesome. So
That was awesome. Very energetic and awesome.
I agree.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm going up to see my sister next week. It's her birthday. So the CD, listen to it, it's brilliant. So she's going to get it for her birthday as well. So we're going to play it one night after a few beers as well. It's going to be great.
Okay, cool. Cheers. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well done, Jeff.
Now we have Richard Harries.
Hello. I told Amy earlier that I could only be silly tonight because I'm too mixed up about the world, although I'm trying to write about it. But then I remembered this one, and it's relevant, I think. But I've got to give you a warning about language and things. So, not a matter of gay pride. Went to Malta in the sun. Bejiba was lovely. The hotel was good in the area, and reception met a friendly young man from Chechnya. So pleased he could travel. Freedom had come to him at last. He was in Moscow in finance, he said. He was so pleased he'd been allowed to travel and holiday in the West. He was with colleagues, mainly older men, but he was happy to be educated and to have freedom. That's what he said. He was 21 and had opportunity, not like generations before, because Russia was opening up and allowing freedom once more. We sat next to each other on computers, me chatting on Facebook to friends. Join me on Facebook. Oh no, he could not do that. Facebook was banned, but they had freedom all the same. Now he also told me that he'd just come out. He was gay and happy now that freedom had arrived. He only stayed in the hotel a few days. No month in the sun for him, but 4 years later, I assume that his freedom is over. And he's now in a camp, a concentration camp, either dead or waiting for death, because the evil that is happening there is happening to real live men, and the young man was full of hope and life and love. What is happening now is so fucking evil, and of humanity, I fucking despair. And it just seems to be a prequel to what's happening now. And then to change the mood, I have We Could Not Help Him, which will be in the second book, which is called Iconic Tattoo. And it's a true story. I went to a local club and saw a mate of mine, Dave. We saw him as he stumbled forward. He moved again and jerked, shook all over, staggered backwards, and his spine arched. His legs kicked out seemingly uncontrollably. There was light shining into his eyes. They were glazed. He twisted violently and awfully, seemed out of control. What was happening? His head jerked. There was sweat glistening on his face. There was another lurch forward. His shoulders now hunched grotesquely as he swayed on his feet unsteadily. We all looked on aghast. How terrible was this? What could we do? He was out of control. We had no means of help. Could we do anything at all? No, there was nothing we could do. Helpless. It was hopeless, dreadful. Well, was there no remedy for this? Did we just have to stand and watch in slow motion as this awful event unfolded? Horror. And it seemed to last forever. The 3-minute frenzy ended. Peace. The noise gone, he relaxed and walked off the dance floor, and Dave's embarrassing uncle at a wedding dance was over. So, I went to one of these round table events in Hull, and I did that. And Carrie Martin, who was a quite well-known singer, said to me, "Now I understand why you're here on a Saturday afternoon. You have no friends left, do you?" And then finally, just a little one. Have we got time for a little one? Yes. And this is called Bedtime Accidents. And again, it's anecdotal and true, but it happened to a friend of mine who I used to work with. Now sweet Jennifer went to bed. "Good night, mummy," to Naomi, she said. Went straight to sleep in slumberland so deep, then woke up with a start and with a thudding heart felt something nasty all over her. She wanted her mummy near, so she called out loud and did shout, "There's something all over me. It's all brown and nasty, I can see." Naomi went fast into the room. She saw Jennifer was filled with gloom. She thought it was sickness, or worse. Did smile and refused to curse her. She mopped it away as Jennifer just wanted to lay and go back to sleep ever so deep. The problem now was Mr. Tickle, her toy, that Jennifer cuddled with joy. He was so old it would be bold to put him in a washing machine, which would destroy him, which would be mean. Then Naomi saw wrappers of gold covered in brown mess, not cold, and she realised Grandma's treat of chocolate coins, a sort of sweet, had been taken to bed by mistake and had melted into a chocolate lake. So Jennifer had not been ill at all, only into liquid chocolate did she fall. Mr. Ticklewash was as good as new, and Naomi was relieved and said, "Phew." And did I mention I've got a book 2 out? That's going to be in it. And I used to perform it to kids and call it Chocolate Lake. And I do this show at Hornsey Carnival every year. And I did it, and the mums and dads were there. And I realised that the mums and dads were laughing at it more than the kids. So I thought, oh, I'm aiming at the wrong people. But if you call it Chocolate Lake, you know what the answer is, don't you? So it had to be Bedtime Accident. So there you go. Anyway, that's me with 3 fairly varied ones today. And thank you. And I'll take me. I shall stay as long as I can before it gets too blurry. But it's getting really much better all the time.
Glad. I'm so glad.
And
Thank you so much.
I've been overwhelmed by the good wishes and questions and things from all sorts of people. So thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Yay. Now we have Finn Hall, who is our feature next month on March 26th.
Hello.
Hello.
I was touch and go actually, just as you know, I'm working in the taxi, and just as Jeff started, somebody waved me down, and it was like a 17-mile hire I had to do in Russia and get back.
Wow.
But I'm clear and I'm fine.
Wow. Thank you.
And I'm $33 better off than I was when I started there. So I'm going to read a couple for you. The first one, Amy knows it because Amy asked me to write a bit for a poem for her a few weeks ago. I've lost the poem. You're going to have to send it to me so I can put it together, Amy. And this bit's called Empath. I see, I hear, I'd listen more, except my ears don't work as well as they used to. And that is not an excuse. My tears still fall, but silently. My arms outstretched, and I can never truly feel how you feel. I've never been shot at. I've never been victimized. I've been lucky, but I move in different circles. Always moved in different circles. Sure, I was a teenager. I was bullied for 5 minutes. My confidence was low and no one took advantage. I didn't always know what to say, the right thing to say at the right time. But I knew how I felt. I wished. I knew how I felt. I still wished that everyone's worst problems were just lacking a little bit of self-confidence. Right, I have, let me see which one here. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I have 2 that I wrote yesterday. They're not all that long. And they're both called I Wish. And we'll do the second one first. It's basically both kind of true story that's something that somebody's going through just now. Not me, I'm fine. Going through just now. This is written in there from their point of view. I wish I didn't love you. It would be so much easier for me. I wish you were a bad person instead of a caring one. And I wish that you didn't have a bath run for me when I get home, and that sometimes you had food ready for me to eat. I wish I didn't hear from you daily, making me realize that I still love you. And I love you, but I don't like you, and I wish you knew that there's a difference between these things. And I wish my heart didn't ache every time you text me. And I wish our children didn't have to see us both suffer, see us torn apart, hearts broken where once they were open and proud. Now the silence is loud, where 2 is a crowd. A house is strange, and although you want to change, it must come naturally and not forced, coerced, put on, made. Time alone may heal the wounds, and I wish there was another way. I wish these yesterdays were not the way they were, and I wish you knew those days were days when the heart began. Prolonged, burned heart, burned deep into my heart, and I wish I had an answer to it all. And I wish we didn't have to cry every day to find a way to heal. We have to fake it to make it through every hour. And although I have no wish to sour things between us, they may be irretrievable, unable to be fixed. Even though I wish they could. And I wish I didn't love you so much. And this next one is speaking to that person, if you like. That's also called I Wish. I wish I could fix the hurt you feel just now. I wish that when I hold you in my arms, the tears and pain would vanish. And I wish that I could wet my hanky and wipe off the sadness within, or stick a plaster over the unseen scars. I wish the love I have for you would be enough to help you fall asleep and not cry yourself to sleep, or read your story and tell you it'll be all right in the morning, that things will be fine after some hot milk and a biscuit. We know that it won't be, but I wish it was. And I wish that all there were to concern you was the falling over on the way to the bus stop and missing an appointment because we had to go home and change your clothes, or got lost when you were just the other side of the counter or the shop. I never want to wish my life away nor nostalgically look back on sunny days. I just wish that I could do one of my stupid magic tricks and make the pain disappear, but wishing doesn't help you, as you wish the same for yours. Sharing grief is no relief, but making wishes with hugs and kisses is all that I can do. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. So heartfelt, tender, beautiful, true stories. So well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It makes me cry, and I wrote it.
Oh, it's very tender. Oh, thank you. Next month, March 26th, Ben Hall. Now we have KHAOS.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Since we are drawing to the end of Black History Month, I would like to share this piece, and it's called Memories of the Nashville Sit-In Movement. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm headed for the freedom land. We were marching on Jefferson Street singing that song, feeling strong. Feet keeping beat on the street to the rhythm of that song. The sound marching down to 8th Avenue, right turn toward the Capitol ground downtown. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm headed to the freedom land. We held back our fears as we sung. The naive thought we were just having fun. Didn't understand that we were putting segregation on the run, trying to cause systemic racism to come unstrung under the very real threat of even being hung. Still, with serious faces we sung. I remember well leaving Pearl High School, having tired of the one-sided golden rule. Heard Martin Luther King was losing a new tool. Some doubted, and said we were being made the fool. On past the Capitol to City Hall, Mayor Ben West came out to hear the protest demands of us all. When Diane Nash asked him the question, did he think withholding services from blacks was right for all? It was his answer that caused segregation in Nashville to fall. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm headed for the freedom land. That poem I wrote in a book that was released just after Christmas called Chaotic Verse, Musings. I'd like to do one more from that book, and it's called Saturday. It's Saturday, and I awake feeling free from all the stress that Monday through Friday may bring. The rains are gone. The days are beginning to be warm. It's almost like spring. Enter, sun, bring back to me that loving feeling. It's Saturday, and she awakes, smiling, stretching, so attractively trim. Speak to me, O vision of loveliness. Why did you choose me over all of them? It's Saturday, and they awake, running, laughing, squealing, 2 minutes of containers of energy. They beg me to be included in their play, making me love the fact it's Saturday. Thank you. My name is KHAOS.
That was over too soon. Thank you so much, Chaos. I put your chaotic verses musings in the chat there. So
All right, Chaotic Verse Musings can be purchased online from Amazon.
okay, wonderful. That was so amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. And now we have N. Scott Reynolds. Is he here? He may have had some difficulty getting in. Okay. If he may join us later. Christine Dickinson.
Hello.
Hello.
I keep freezing, so I hope I'm going to stay the course.
Okay.
So there's a little short one about a friend of mine, sadly, no more. The artist. Her smile was a beam of summer, a burn framed in a frizz of hair, a gash splashed across canvas. She'd wear flared skirts, a clash of scarves, dash in, sloshing a glass half full. She'd chuckle a gripe off its course, bellow a laugh when all seemed lost. She'd flow over the boundaries, hug you tight like an envelope, and wave you off like a slash of breeze. Yeah. And this one's about my mother. The thread between us. Mother would unstick each finger knot, the click of knitting needles she could no longer slip through loops to tug a stitch for pearl or plain. Lips clamped she'd cast on and off, a glove sprouting digits, an arm dangling from palms, pocket slits in cardigans, V-necks, button slots, ribbed pullovers in eye-toned fleck. Perfectly good patterns frayed at the seams, fracturing smiles of families displayed in wool. The layettes took their pride of place, buttermilk lace in 2-ply, fit for the boy. Words like Fair Isle, fully fashioned, raglan sleeve belong to the past. Socks we don't darn in a weave stretched smooth over the wood of a mushroom. Mother sewed as easily as turning a heel. Dismiss the hurt of bones grating, gnarled knuckles, a cave in the joint where the thumb guides the hand. She plucked skin, a slack lid enunciated carpo metacarpal with pride, declaring, my grip wore out. When I grew steady on my own 2 feet, I'd hold both arms up to our mother's chair, keep them level to accept the weight of a skein dangling limp from my wrists. I danced to her moves, angle my spine to mimic the rhythm of winding hands, and watch for the tangle in her brow, sense that tension, the thread between us. Tick, tick. Her mother leaves her daughters holding the strands, spinning new yarns. Round and round they go, coiling fingers, curling hair, a family quirk, twisting a cord. Thank you.
So, so beautifully done. Thank you. Thank you so much. Beautiful detail. Such a wonderful storyteller you are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for. I just muted myself. Okay. Now we have Lesley Constable.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It's really good to be here. This is new, sort of. It's a theme that keeps coming up. It's about crocodiles. And I'm not quite sure about it because it's new, but hey, I'm just gonna go for it. It's called Mother Crocodile. It is good to be in the mud blinking, above it, deeply embedded, surviving. It is okay. Don't ask me to believe it. All your disguises, your excuses, the off by a mile rabid ideas of non-existence. No hope, no chance, but the running and hiding you tell me is your existence. It is easier to remember than to forget. Don't ask me to believe it is all yours. Don't ask me to believe all your fine disguises, your excuses. No chance, no hope, but running, hiding until your existence is not. I do not believe you, but I will listen and I will pause. I will hold you. I will argue. I will agree. I will. I do not believe you, but will hold you in this little boat just offshore from this our island and hold you until the waves inside of you, rocking you, are still, and we on the little boat in the water just briefly still, and as we will enjoy the stillness together, held in place, the boat anchored in place as one. What are you asking? What are you asking me? That I suspend disbelief again, that I suspend this time and lie to myself again, that the sun is not sun, there is no shining to be done, my shadow standing behind me, not at one with me, but separate, that I, that you, that we, that all of us existence, that we are only in the light of sharp focus, the pools of light at my feet muddy, the darling fish circling us below, we will stay beneath the surface, twirling slowly in their dance to mimic remembering the cosmos above us. They move in slow time, beneath. I am kind. I agree. I argue that who you are, what you say, your experience, perhaps not. The do what you say, that does what you say, they do what you say, hangs on a thread, made slender simply by thought, connects the connection to the all, and you apart from yourself, with you wants, with your insistent demands, your needs, apart from yourself, from the rest, from the all, and declares a selfness apart. That is not possible. Apart from the rest, the same polluted air, the same air polluted by sameness, your muddy feet walk as muddy as you are. You ask me to support you in this, your nothingness, this untenable, no holding to nothing, the nothingness in which you cower, saying it is this nothingness, when it is simply nothing, not supported, not connected. You are afraid simply afraid. And that is something. That is something. It is being. Being afraid is a start towards being afraid, is moving towards just inching forward to the realization of being. You can climb down from your tree. The pools that would wet your feet are pools even though you scampered up to hide there in the sky, the heavy sky, leaving again, leaning backwards and forwards with the light of the heavy air, mooring your being as breath. You can rise up from the muddy pool along the banks of each of your rivers, the crocodile as mother, hidden, all but the eyes, hidden, surveying, surviving. That'll be it for me tonight. Thanks, everyone.
Oh my gosh. So beautiful, peaceful, flowing, hypnotic, all the things. It was so beautiful. I learned so much from that. Thank you. Thank you. And now we have Joy Johnson. Are you here?
Yep, I'm here.
Yay.
I picked out a couple of kind of old ones, but anyway. This one is called The Caveat. Einstein's shock of a hair mop does not mean quantum mechanics belongs to crazy old men. Plenty young, female, brown, plain physics antics. Many are brighter still than that old man who imagined there was a God not playing dice with the universe said God had fashioned. I'm reminded daily to please accept uncertainty, allowing complexity from undeterministic reality. The next one is called Cruising. It's a form that's called a glossa. A glossa just means something that is referring to what came before. It's 4 stanzas. Each one ends with a line from another poem. And this one in particular, the end lines are from a poem called Voyager by a poet named Lucian Strike. Kind of just chosen at random. Okay, here we go. For some few guineas who make a stir, he can ditch the hippies to entertain theories of meaning with a girl who might or might not give him the willies. But drinks that tax the kidneys will become the running joke that makes his 50s pass with ease or something like it until the Achilles heel of boredom or simple apathy, ready companion. And not how he pities the man with an arm attached to someone less appealing, except that's exactly his keeling now. Only nothing that dramatic seeming is seizing anyone's attention, least of all his, and he's believing not hers too. Yet who's that bleeding behind his eye orbs, such that he wishes to be retreating into or from another blustering? Who can be sure after the unleashing about the girl who, like a tug, guides the conversation to calmer channels and makes time to hasten to a nearer and nearer end, a haven yearned for, no paisan, but imagining the polish he's pulling off, even though clean shaven is not a la mode, and dotations what is oncoming in this probation of a life, a relation and navigation between occasions that maneuver him through the high sea of aloneness, in which he has and will swim eternally as far as he kens, or ever could, or ever wanted to, since when who knows, and it must have all started with Wimp him on the jungle gym. At least otherwise, why this complete non-bedlam of sails neat and trimmed, abiding for decades of an existence, come phantom limb, with hymns hardly heard, emitted from lips certain to toss him on the nearest shore. Thank you.
Well done. Brilliant. Per usual. Just makes me think every time.
Sorry
really
about
hard.
that.
No, that's good. I like to think. It's challenging. I like that. And I like how you challenge yourself with new forms.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good to see you. Okay, now we have Richard Spisak.
Hello, everyone. Thank you,
Hello.
all you poets, for coming. It's Spisak, but that's okay. A rose, as they say by any other name. This is 2 very, very fresh pieces. One, I'm going to read this one first. This is a reflection on some of the interesting dynamics of the politics we swim in right now. It's called Awful and Terrible, a political parable. Offered themselves which to consider, was I in love? Terrible offered a plate of bad food. He was plain old ridiculous. Man, he was rude. Then it was awful. He wanted to help, but damn, he was crooked, in league with the big bankers, the wankers, insurance, endurance, in spite of himself. Awful was full of business as usual, the same old lame old tricks to confuse you. Terrible, he was a banging, the pots and the pans, mischievous thuggery. Man, he opened a can of 12 kinds of devils. They was armed and up to no good, stormed the White House up the hill. They knocked over justice in the Senate they stood. Awful ain't seen nothing. An incrementalist, he no need to rush out a slow murder, and he, nah, let's not rush to judgment, said old King Awful. Sure, there's injustice, but I'm told it's lawful. Terrible's a robber, sets all the rats loose. They've stolen the engine and now the caboose. Sure, people need health care. They're buried in debt. And Awful lawful replies, but the rich has their rights too. You must be patient, rest, close your eyes. Terrible's got guns. He'd throw open the prisons and round up the liberals and throw them within them. The Pentagon's in a riot. They're burning the cash. What's left of the safety net, old Awful just slashed. Terrible ain't waiting. He's rounded up his army, but Awful's holding fire. He said, nah, let's not get alarmy. Terrible, he's marching ahead of his army. Awful's having a presser, all distingué and charming. Days, idiots. Does we one in charge? I'm hoping for fairness. Ain't he out there at large? And then, to lighten the mood, I saw amid the horror that is one more too many wars, I saw an old woman speak this way to a soldier. What did the old lady say to the soldier? Why are you here? The old lady asked. My dear young soldier, standing there, your rifle so bold, here on my street, on your way to defeat. Are you here to kill your brothers? Will you be glad to kill their mothers, kill their babies too? Do you have rabies? Is that why? Are you crazy? Must we die so you can save us? Will you find your grave here with us? Why are you here? Did you come to kill us? You'll die here, little man. Go back while you can. Don't you understand, little man? You mustn't spill us and kill us and shoot us, pollute us. Grandmother, you should go home before it gets worse. In all this killing, make it worse? You came to save us by killing us? Plant your bombs and spill us? Leave before it gets worse. Gets worse? I place on you my most awful curse. You'll die here and lie here, hated and worse. Put these seeds in your pocket so flowers will bloom where your body falls after all. Please go, old mother, before it gets worse. Worse than you and your killing. Will you kill us all to save us? In the grave your great victory awaits. Get out of my gate. Go home before it gets worse with my curse. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking out. I really appreciate that. And it's really well crafted. What you do is really well crafted. Thank you. Now we have Dig Wayne.
Hello, can you hear me? I got two new pieces. The first one's called The Authority of Your Curse. Whims populate bullied gondolas. Tinkling bells conjure privileged crust of conceits. River bottom bellwether foretold believers ruminate in silk and gunny sack. Impulse imbues ritual with conduct. unbecoming in the face of close shaves and hair triggers. Lost channel surfers dig potatoes, plant tomatoes, adjusting to part-time conscripted reality. The walking graveyard is lit with a mirrored disco ball, scaring the Holy Ghost into Brooklyn accents and 1980s assistant principals with fear in their mustaches. Resurrection is high on fumes of misdials and religious disappointment. Nevertheless, by the power vested in your silver buttons, this mumbo jumbo speaks to you in a language of crushed velvet coffin pillows, and you smile in your blessings. Thank you. This next one's brand new. I just wrote it yesterday. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's called The Register of Inarticulate. Stammering for even a small, accurate stack in the endless gulf of expression, from experience, from feeling to quill, to doubt, never certainty. We ponder eloquently, dripping forth rudimentary utterances that for now pass for pearls worth clutching. Gorgeous disasters litter book and bellwether rumblings untold as of yet. Casting out the heel of the loaf as unworthy, polishing alphabetical anthracite into faux diamond eternal verities. Bite our damp tongues as they wag and dart and a scamper down blind alleys with a maw full of inadequate blurts. Retrieve the orphaned heel from the company of sublime trash, disposed, decadent, punctuated pomposities, executing loquacious leaps. Then light a candle, fill a glass, toast the heel of the loaf to the simple beginning and end of all things fundamentally human. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Brilliant. Thank you. Just
My pleasure.
brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Please come back. And now we have, if I can say it correctly, Mervyn Seivwright. Are you here? There you are. Welcome.
Thank you. To all the friends, the community that I see everywhere across the globe doing all of this, I welcome you as family as I always do. I have two. One that I'm reading now, but I wrote it as I was working with the Afghan travelers that came through in August to October through Germany. I worked with all of those and it generated a lot of poems, but there's one in particular that I feel that outside of the title, it really fits some of the stuff that's going on now. But I'll leave that for you to see if you can capture. So I'll start with that. A nameless cobblestone to Afghan travelers. I feel the weight of the ocean, unthickening from its jelloed state on my back, squeezing my body, showering as water falls off saturated skin, leaving a sticky residue of anarchy. From a squatted position, I am able to slump up with shivering bumps, my eyes clearing hazy effigies, recycling in overlapping pace. Finally, slowing down, finding clarity in my eyes' edge. I am not empty. My palette of taste is lost, overwhelmed with flavors the same way our noses are in a full room of open perfume bottles. I feel I am not important at this moment, that time is on a thread's last untangled nexus. It is time for me to paint a new depiction of these wanderers, seeking a path to usher them, a safe mountain, up a thorny tortil path from judgment. The second piece is a title poem for a collection that I'm still finding a publisher for, but this piece was published by Filling Station Journal out of Canada. Stick, hook, and a pile of yarn. For those that notice, it is a sestina. Stick, hook, and a pile of yarn provided my mommy the crochet tools she needed to thread web knots years past her death. A slip knot around the hook wrapped the yarn in knots compressed in shapes, four-sided, contrasting rainbow colors. Yarn reading the storyline of her son looped around the stick. My mommy laced loops using a stick to guide the path to come, a tool navigating a foreshadowed path, knots to come. Each chapter broken in hooked pages, a marriage question brought shapes in daunting, dark blended colors. Our family was far, where our dusk colors were their dawn. A variegation of seasons looped in a scent. A kidney transplant, a promise, precise tools may not work. My mommy stitched shapes with her knots in my blanket. Knotted husband hooked on drugs hid from his blended family. Abused shapes came in leaves, powders, crystallized shapes in darkened green, white, tarnished yellow colors. Mommy never read the braille shapes around the loops of the blanket. She created a Celtic shield, a tool to protect her son from the social vultures, knots tightening, unraveling around him, hooked to a path, weaving him from the gunshots, hooked fish in homesteads, swamps. Mommy crocheted shapes short of symmetry, her garden of herbs amid bark-colored roots sown early before boiling sun. Flowers looped around the tree. Prism's reflection created a small tool for her son to harvest her joy between the knots of a path without streetlights. My mommy nodded her heart in the blanket. A life connected, hooked her presence with me when she spoke no more. Diamond shapes embedded in the blanket's center lighted her son colors, letting her son know he was precious, looping her love, wrapped her warmth around him, a compass tool of direction, a tool secured by knots, my mommy stitched, guided by a hook. Stages mapped in four-sided shapes, forecasting chapters in colors, coupled in her loops. Thank you.
Astounding elegy, beautifully woven. Please read your comments. You had so many delightful comments. Wonderfully done. I am speechless beyond that. Oh my gosh, so good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have Maureen Medina. Is she here? Let's see. No, I don't believe so. Okay. Hil Hoover.
Hi.
Hi.
I have two new poems that I haven't read anywhere yet, one of which was written at 2 a.m. this morning, so no promises on quality. The first one is called I Can't Speak This. It's 2 a.m. I scroll through news that I can scarcely understand. I'm not educated enough to speak on. I hold in my arms a child recovering from a seizure, press kisses to his brow with every bit of tenderness I know. The ongoing updates of a very old friend puts a human face on what otherwise might be too far away, unknowable. I whisper her name under my breath to every deity I know. The simple sound becomes a medley. My old friend who hunches in a stranger's basement this evening, the child in my arms, his tall frame folded in to fit, comically larger than the parent he clings to for solace. Elsewhere, another name to join the chorus, a child desperately trying to convince their parents to move from their home state, the house they were literally born in, rather than force them into a dehumanizing detransition to avoid investigation, punishment under the law, destruction of a leveling family unit. There is too much sorrow, and I can hold too little in this broken brain, have no space in this diminishing mind to store every news update, every post from a firsthand witness to atrocity in this world we have built. I read them anyway. Take the space of a moment. Let the weight of the slowly calming child in my arms steady me as everything passes through, and my heart, without such limits, whispers the names I know, entreats every speck of dust in the universe to understand every unspoken name lives in my breath. So yeah, that's my middle of the night poem about current events. And then I have a slightly lighter one that also mentions my child called Dusty, I Say. The movie we're watching ends. Dusty, I say, maybe I'll tell you a story. Today's hero is a wizard, also named Dusty, of course, whose words are spells drawn in the air with his fingers. My Dusty sets his hand along my cheek sweetly. Dusty, I say, I love you. One hand grasps my own, curls fingers around mine, holds tightly and warmly. Dusty, I say, I'm falling off. Strong fingers pull at my leg, bringing me safe from the edge, while a blanket is tucked over me gently. Dusty, I say, I should probably go make your lunch. And my Dusty, my sweet, beautiful child, revokes the blanket, dumps me unceremoniously in the floor. Thank you.
Oh, goodness. Those are both beautiful. Thank you. So evocative, as someone said, and beautiful storytelling. Thank you so much for speaking your truth. Now, Alexandra Saraporus, and I need to share the screen. Let's see. Wrong thing. All right, you should be able to share, Alexandra. Oh, there you are.
Okay.
There you are.
In the temple, high above the sea, a sweet, gentle breeze blows through the orange curtains. And here there is a sweet flame burning in every heart, melting all resistance under the powers that guide us through sorrow and joy, within and without. Knowing how not to hurt or be hurt by others, to be proud of ourselves on earth as above, unable to understand, unable to bear cruelty, using our strength to protect, to care for, dancing, dancing to diffuse, in the waves, over the waves, transcending, higher and higher, wounds, no more wounds, in the sunlight, flying, flying, in the superlight, in the temple, high above the sea, a sweet, gentle breeze blows through the orange curtains. And here there is a clean energy in every flower and tree, soil and water, wind and sun. Our duty to our planet, knowing how to sustain and be sustained by nature, to be proud of all business people on earth as above, unable to understand, unable to bear war, using our kindness to soothe, to comfort, dancing, dancing to transform, in the waves, over the waves, transcending, higher and higher. Wounds, no more wounds, in the moonlight, flying, flying, in the superlight. In the temple, high above the sea, a sweet, gentle breeze blows through the orange curtains. And here there is a safe haven for every child, woman, and man. Our duty to mankind, knowing how to treat and be treated by others, to be proud of all rulers on earth as above, unable to accept, unable to bear degradation, raising our human hearts to be noble, to create values, dancing, dancing to be sublime, in the waves, over the waves, transcending, higher and higher. Wounds, no more wounds, in the starlight, flying, flying, in the superlight. In the temple, high above the sea, a sweet, gentle breeze blows through the orange curtains. And here there is a unity of people from all nations, unlocking the gates of our minds and our hearts into salvation, knowing how to forgive ourselves and others, to be proud of humanity on earth as above, unable to accept, unable to bear discord, raising our human souls to be noble, to uphold the values, dancing, dancing to render sublime, in the waves, over the waves, transcending, higher and higher. Winners, despite our wounds, into the rainbow light, flying, flying, in the superlight, flying, flying, in the human, divine superlight.
Oh my gosh, transcendent, so wonderfully inspiring. Thank you so much. And to your husband as well for accompanying you. Thank you. So inspiring. Thank you so much. And your color palette, your visual art. Beautiful. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. And now we have Gregory Slade. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you. I got two for today. This first one's called You Can Call Me Cassie. It's a allusion to the myth of Cassandra. Just for people that aren't aware, it's like Apollo fell in love with her, but she rejected him and he cursed her. And the curse of Cassandra was that she could see the future, but no one would believe her. So she was always able to see what was coming, but she could never do anything about it. So that was kind of the curse that Apollo laid upon Cassandra for rejecting him. This is called You Can Call Me Cassie. Futility is my only enemy. Knowing is not enough. Seeing all the things you cannot change. The curse of Apollo for your insolence. How to find joy in the light of the fire. You saw it before it burned this way. How is one to peacefully retire, knowing all the pain of the coming day? Call me Cassandra, call me crazy. Either way, I'm not really okay. I'd feel so much better, though, if someone could only hear the words that I say. You can call me Cassie so long as you listen to the way that I pray. I see so much futility in places that I cannot stay. I believe in something good in the firelit darkness as I remain. Of the shadows, I am unafraid. I must believe in more than I see, or I would not believe in grace. The visions are ever changing, but change is the solid state. Futility seems and serves the folly of fate. I serve to make a vision great, working it out along the way. Nobody hearing a word that I say, defying a wicked God by the way I keep bearing the pain. And so that's You Can Call Me Cassie. This one's called The End of the Beginning. This is a story about an author. It happens in and out of time. A story of nothing and everything coming together and coming apart, of remembrance and forgetfulness, awareness and illusion, understanding and confusion. It is fact and it is fiction. It's completely made up, but entirely true. A story of things that appear and things that remain only just hidden from view. If you've ever been in or out of time, my friend, have I got a story for you of instinct and judgment, of reaction and choice, words born from waiting in silence, of a truth trying to find its voice, of reason and passion and something just beyond. The hero's journey through the looking pond, of wisdom and folly, of age and youth, a story of love and of abuse, of angles and figures forming symbols and words, illuminating the keyhole through which our understanding arrives. This is what I know of how the universe works. This is the story of our lives. Now that you are reading this is the story of you and I. A reflection of an experience that words cannot describe. It is unfinished even as I speak. It comes to the future more than any end by the speed of light in our eyes. The unchanging theme beneath the very time that flies. This is a message from outer space, requiring no outward reply. An internal dialogue about how everything connects, the story of what is and what was before. This is the story of what happens next. This is a heart and mind and soul transcribed within a text. This is a letter to everyone that I've been writing to myself. A ledger of savings and equity, a store of eternal wealth, nuggets, ore, and particulate, refined by a new design, making more pure and pliable the mold of a cosmic mind.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your journey and your mind. That was beautifully done. And I love the
Thank
key
you.
metaphor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Now we have Kate Jenkinson. She was here before. Okay, maybe she'll be back in. Okay, now we have Clive Osman. Are you here? There you are.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Hiya. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
I'm on my mobile at the moment. Can you still see me if I get my words up?
We see a picture of you as a child or a child.
Enough.
Which is
So,
fine.
Yeah. So thank you for letting me read. And I've got a couple of poems actually. So the first one is about aphantasia, which is something I've written and spoken about on other open mics. And aphantasia is a condition where you cannot see images in the mind's eye. And this poem is called Soil. Everything that grows starts in the dark. My blackboard mind needed these words to drown out the chalked experiences screeching their groundhog reality on repeat. Repeat. I need to know darkness is not the end. It incubates a new beginning. I will emerge when nourished. Knowing that fertile soil is the blackest helps, and my lack of vision heralds the clapperboard as I start a new verse in the poem of my hilly life. I am not bogged down anymore by responsibility. This crevice is my home. And then the second one I wanted to read tonight is actually very recent, and it's in response to what's happening in the world and happening in Ukraine. And I've never written about war before. I've never felt the need to, but I've written this today. I don't write about war. I've never understood the desire to repress, suppress, or dominate another as a way to describe your own success, to demonstrate your prowess. But I can't ignore it. I just have no way to address my overwhelming helplessness at the terror, destruction, and death inflicted by one human on another. But my ignorance at this mess isn't going to release the fear or eliminate the stress I see in the eyes of my children. I can only imagine, with a wounded heart ripping in my chest, how Ukrainian parents are responding to their baby's distress. I wish fighting were not the answer. Power overpowering power never resolved a conflict. Conversation, dialogue, and compassion did, but what does a compassionate heart do to respond to this? Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. I really appreciate it. And then the second one, I was about to cry. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Now we have Clive Osman.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm going to do two, both brand new. One was written yesterday morning, is very short, and the other one was written sort of late last night, early this morning, whichever you want to call it. So before I read the first one, I do want to say that I am very aware that there's a very fine line between what's acceptable and what's not as humour in times like this. But my belief is that satire and taking the mickey out of despots and idiots like Putin is essential. I don't think it's offensive at all. So please, if anybody does find this offensive, I apologise, but it's my view that satire and comedy is essential in times like this. So, so it's only very short, and it's from the perspective of good old Vladimir. I've got a tiny penis, so by way of compensation, I'm going to send my troops in to invade a sovereign nation. It's time for bombs, it's time for tanks, it's time to start the shooting. That will teach the bastards not to call me 2-inch Putin. So yeah, I guess that's Novichok on my door handle then, and the agents will claim to be tourists visiting Swindon's beautiful magic roundabout. But yeah, I've done it now. So the second one is more typically me. and it's called You Think You Had a Bad Day. The day started well enough. The sun was streaming through my bedroom window and I had a day off work, a rare luxury for a Monday. I was just beginning to think the day couldn't get any better when my Tory voting brother texted me saying his dog had dumped elephantine amounts of shit on his brand new carpet and he had trodden in it in his bare feet and the dog had laughed at him. I can't help thinking he may have been exaggerating somewhat about the amount of excrement involved and the dog's reaction, but one can hope. Unfortunately, things went downhill from there. First, I heard my sister had been found not guilty of drug smuggling and was free to come home. Then, in my confused state, I brushed my teeth with hemorrhoid cream. I'd wondered why my bum smelt minty. I soon found out. Not to be outdone by its canine cousin, my pet elephant suffered somewhat for last night's vindaloo. I managed not to stand in the resulting mess, but tripped over his walking stick and landed in his head first. At this point, I decided to go back to bed. Probably should have washed my hair first, but I'd gone past caring, and the water supply had been cut off. Things continued to conspire against me. I woke up to the sound of Nigel Farage on the radio, jumped out of bed, and in my desperation to get away from the hideous sound, I broke my foot in two places, one on the stairs and one in the shed. To cap it all, I had some terrible news. When I finally opened my letters, there was confirmation that my greatest fear had become reality. There I was, hobbling about with a broken foot, my hair matted with elephant dung, my sister on her way back home, a free woman, a mouth full of Anusol and an anus full of Colgate Total, thinking I had reached my nadir, when it was confirmed that the test proved irrefutably that I am Boris Johnson's love child. Fuck my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was hilarious. Much appreciated. I think Putin needs a hobby, like a really consuming hobby or something. But
yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now we have Brian Daly.
Okay. I got two Olympics poems. One is about skiing. One is about skating. First one is called The Men's Downhill. I'm watching the men's downhill on TV tonight, Sunday, in the games of the whatever Olympiad. And though, to be honest, I'm more into curling, I can relate to these dudes in a big way as they tear ass down the slippery, unforgiving slope. I'm 70 this year, but fit, thank God, though I can't ski like these guys do, as my boo reminds me, at 100 miles per hour. Honey, hush your mouth. Victory to me, I tell her, my chin slightly raised, is not measured in hundredths of a second, nor in some tin horn medal draped around my neck, but in whether I still feel like springing out of the gate in the morning, ski poles clutched to my sides, knees not quite flexed enough, the wind streaking through my thinning hair as I set out to navigate the impossible course. It's 7 a.m. It's a new day. I'm a champion. Mike Tirico, I can do this. That was the skiing one. This is the skating one. It's called My Short Program. So shoot me. I lack the staying power to perform for an extended period. But most, okay, all of my girlfriends, wives, and fiancés are hideously familiar with my short program. You know the one I mean, where I skate to the middle of the ice, position myself in the spotlight, and proceed to ignore my most fervent supporter while playing to the crowd. As I skate confidently backwards, but sticking out, looking over my shoulder, I spot some lass in the stands on tiptoe, waiting for me, heart aflutter, to execute my famous triple fluts. When I sense my 3 minutes coming to a close, I finish with a flourish, then disappear down the tunnel, thrilled with my routine, but not keen to see the judges flash their scores. Oh, my lovely ones, if only I could have stayed your partner, arms wrapped tight around your waist, kept twirling with you in the ice dance. The gold might have been ours, but you finally figured out what I was up to all those nights on the frozen lake outside our cabin. My failures scrawled all around me while I skated into first light, not even half trying to carve the magic figure that would make us turn out right.
Thank you. Those are funny and very good. Thank you. Great storytelling. Now we have Epiphany.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. I got a couple of poems I would like to share. Thank you for the opportunity. Everybody's doing such a wonderful job. The first one I would like to share is entitled Autumn Drum. The autumn rains whisper of futures to come. Their melodious drops fall softly to the ground, beat a familiar rhythmic sound. While the gentle wind blows, the wind chime sings, my heart synchronizes in unity. Wearing only a summer nightgown, barefooted, braless, and brave, I stand in the wetness to welcome and witness the mighty mist of its mission. I breathe the moist indigenous air of life as it happens before my eyes, heart, and ears. One drop, one beat, one chime at a time. The rain remembers and tells ancient stories of suffering and survival. I don't see blood, sweat, or tears, but their savory drops are on my tongue. The rain speaks of new species, mysteries to be revealed, and of life's purpose to renew, refresh, and restore. I believe. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, I say. And I too will remember and speak of the greater that is now and yet to come, when it's my time to reign and beat the autumn drum. Okay, I got one more. This one's entitled The River at Night. The River at Night. Obsidian mysteries of precious lives lost at the will of greedy and uncivilized men, ungodly beasts who molest and sodomize with vicious intentions and no plans of restoration. The water sighs, once buried by deep currents, awaken to the surface. Braille pips sparkle by moonlight, stretch their arms and legs, form words and tell stories of these discarded firestones that glisten and wait to be discovered by a poet who watches the river at night.
Thank you. So beautiful and spiritual, inspiring. I love your trips to the river so much. I'm vicariously enjoying that.
I am enjoying it too, and I'm getting so much inspiration from being down at the rivers. It's just phenomenal. That's why I had to write the river at night. I mean, who would have thought?
You're very brave. I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have Maggie Sanders. Are you here? Let's see. Not today. Okay. Now we have Nick Lovell.
Hello.
Oh.
Apologies for the lack of image, but my internet connection's a little unstable, so I'm going to run with audio only.
Okay, thank you.
It's great to be here. Just been blown away by everyone's poetry tonight. Thank you so much. And this first one, it's I guess it's a story that's been told in every conflict since the first man picked a rock up and started beating another one on the head. And sadly, I think it's one that will be told a lot in the coming weeks. I don't think I'm going to make it. Would you stay and hold my hand? It wasn't meant to end like this. I'd always planned to live to be 100, raise a family, build a home. Now those dreams, like me, lie ruined, and I don't want to die alone. The lads and me were also keen to come and do our bit, thought we'd all return as heroes like anyone would give a shit. But one by one, they've been gunned down, unspared till now but me. Their blood and guts stinging fields from hell to eternity. Are you still there, mate? It's awfully dark. I thought it was only noon. I'm sorry to have kept you here, but I'll be going soon. These guilty bullets burn inside like 1,000 angry bees. I can hardly feel your hand now, mate. Stay a little longer, please. It would have been my birthday next week. I'd have had a score of years of life beneath my belt, but then this fucking war took hold of us. It twisted things. It brought me here to die. It taught me how to follow fools and never question why. Thanks, mate, for your company, for staying by my side. I never thought I'd be this scared. I guess needs must conquer pride. Tell them it happened instantly. Don't tell them about the blood, nor my gasping breath through gritted teeth, nor my shit mixed in the mud. Don't tell them about my shattered leg, nor the terror in my eyes. Don't tell the truth of how I died. Just pass on my goodbyes. Thousands died at Arnhem, blazing pit of 20 hells, where the devil danced to the endless beat of a million artillery shells, where I held a dying young man's hand till his final rattled gasp, felt his hand clutch mine that one last time, felt him shudder as he passed, felt the anger, rage and sickness tear apart my tattered mind, felt the helplessness, the terror at the touch of graveyard lime, and knew his youthful face, now still, would live with me for all my time. Thank you. That's my first poem. The second one's a little bit different, a little bit more cheerful. So I think that'd be a bit of a somber place to leave it. I used to be a Greyhound commentator, working with Clive actually. And despite repeated requests, they wouldn't let me do the Greyhound commentaries in the form of little poems. So I thought I'd do a poem in the form of a Greyhound commentary. And it goes like this. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 1 minute's betting remaining until the race of his life. The hare is running, the hare's approaching the traps, and snap, the hare is caught in a trap, just like Elvis Presley. Now, back to the race. And they're off. It's bewildered Nick making all the running as they head towards the first bend of many. This youngster making ground against potty training, preschool, infancy, and an introduction into the basics of capitalism through playground economics. A little bumping for masturbation, self-loathing and puberty as they go through the second bend, but it's bewildered Nick still tight on the rails as they head on to the back straight, leading by a length from immaturity with insecurity, bad decisions, unemployment and an unsuitable girlfriend all gaining on him. Bewildered Nick still leading by some good head from a girl he met in a nightclub, and a kicking from her boyfriend half an hour later, closely followed by sympathy, a series of dates, cohabitation and an unexpected wedding. It's bewildered Nick leading by a neck from redundancy, with midlife crisis making a move and depression still in and out of the back as they go into the fourth and final bend. Middle age falling away to be passed by you, an old bastard now. Nostalgia, confusion and minor regrets also coming into running as they race down the home straight towards the finish. It's bewildered Nick from grandchildren with not enough exercise, too many fags, and both your parents died from cancer, you fucking idiot. As they hurtle towards the line, retirement, boredom and longing for release, now fighting with petition with mild incontinence and unusual smells. But it's bewildered Nick clinging on to the lead with death close behind as they race the last couple of metres towards the line. It's bewildered Nick from death, bewildered Nick from death, and it's bewildered Nick and death neck and neck as they cross the line for a photo finish. A photo finish there between bewildered Nick and death. And we have the result of the photo. The winner is death. Death wins by 1 length. Death always wins by exactly 1 length. Thank you.
Well done. So well done. Oh my gosh. The first one was so real, and I really appreciate you sharing that one with us. And the second one was hilarious. Thank you. Now we have Ian Presnanszky.
Hello, hi, thanks Amy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good to see everybody. Okay, this is one about Ukraine and Russia. It stemmed from a conversation with my dad. Yeah, we had a conversation the other day, and I've always seen him as quite a, just really strong, always had everything locked down kind of person. And he kind of told me that I'm feeling a little bit vulnerable at the moment with all the stuff in the news. And he came in the 50s from Hungary, from the revolution. So, it kind of runs deep with my family. I can't really begin to imagine. But yeah, so I started writing and it turned into song lyrics. It's in progress. I've never done this kind of thing before, so it's unfamiliar territory. It's monotone. It's going to be done to a very flat, melancholic beat. I can't do it in tune, but I'll do my best. So I'll play you a bit of the beat separately, and I'll do the finished result next time, but it's going to kind of be to this. If you can hear that. But so if you kind of keep that in mind, and I'll start. Death seeps through the TV news, see the views, it's sad man's blues. Blades will cut and will hold court, the bombs are primed, their fuses short. Soldiers marching through the town, hold the country and lock it down. Where voices shout, now let us be, your red star go, leave my country. As pale hands throw their fires at night, flames lick steel, it shines tanks bright. The bottles, they come raining down, they yank the flag, then put it down. Father now, what did you see? You graced these shores as a refugee. Your life back then a mystery. War repeats, it's what we see. Now tanks roll through my LCD. With guns and death, it's all I see. We turn and choose which story to click. The case for a war, it contradicts. As flares light up the skies at night, troops then turn and take the fight. The rockets, they come raining down. Yeah, he desires the empire's crown. While eyes look down, the iron sights, the focus sharp, their eyes are bright. Tonight's the night, it's going down. The tanks now roll across this town. The polished floors and fluorescent lights, the priest reads out his final rites. He draws a breath, his death is near. The sadness comes, he sheds a tear. The child now here without a home, on our shores while we judge and moan, waxing lyrical without thinking. Our resources are now just shrinking. Forgets her fear and disorientation, her strange place with alienation. Lying there crying to sleep at night, her dad lies dead from the fight. Tonight's the night, it's going down. Those tanks still roll across this town. That's kind of the raw thing. I'm probably going to get someone else to actually do the lyrics, because I'm not really too kind of good at holding a note, but that's kind of how it is at the moment. It's a little bit raw, so it needs a bit of work. Thank you.
And someone said that was chilling. It's the rhythm that I could see someone saying it rocking. Just rocking with just not understanding some.
Yeah, rocking a bit when I was doing it. It's really hard to do though. It's kind of, you know, so it needs work. Thank you.
Well, you did really well. Now we have Elle Diamond Whipple. Welcome.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today and creating this space. I am excited to be sharing with you all today from my new book that released, thank you, 2 weeks ago. And it is available on Amazon as well as Barnes and Noble. And it is entitled Broken, Crushed, Shattered, Mended, Healed. How to Survive a Broken Heart by Latoya Whipple. And Elle Diamond is my poetic name that I refer to myself as. And if anyone is interested, I welcome you to reach out to me on social media. And that is Elle Diamond Whipple. That is on Twitter as well as IG. So I will be sharing with you all today one piece from my new book, and it is a short piece, and it is entitled Gone But Not Forgotten. Gone but not forgotten. I will never forget the sense of joy you created in my inner being. Gone but not forgotten. I will never forget the sense of fulfillment you created inside me. Gone, but not forgotten. I will forever cherish our moments that united us. Gone, but not forgotten. I will forever smile when I think of you. Gone, but not forgotten. Thank you for showing me how it feels to be valued. gone, but not forgotten. Thank you for showing me how it feels to be desired. Gone, but not forgotten. In peace. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. That was awesome. I love the detail and the sense of spirit within you that wrote that. It was just beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Oh, you're welcome. Please come back.
Absolutely.
And now we have Elmien Wolvaardt. Did I say that correctly?
Hi, very, very good, Amy. Not bad at all. Thanks so much
good,
for having me. It's Elmien Wolvaardt. Yeah, I'm Afrikaans, South African, but
Elmien Wolvaardt. Okay.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for having me. Goodness, what an act to follow. Everyone's act to follow. Right. First one's called Library. Down post box, red painted steps. My sandals click clack through the dust. The subtropical sun fades from view as I enter and my eyes adjust, seeing silhouettes of dark polished wood and small wooden stools sounding hollow as they scrape across the Swiss parquet. My feet come to rest. Shifting sideways, my fingers trail along the spines, looking for the thickest books I can find to last me until next time. My library card, a magic key. Cicadas sing outside, but here the heat is a memory. In the dark mystery of the basement library, I discovered Doctor Who, the puzzle of an inside-out world that never made sense, not even in the end. And sad stories, Beeltje nummer 4, about the Siamese cat and the girl who went blind, her sense of loss now mine. The library is gone, a sweet shop in its place. Sweets for me now also, my fort against the everyday, the minor bird realities of noise and strife, when what I really seek is a more sustaining life, or a more sustaining book, as I remain like silly old Pooh, stuck in a rabbit hole, a nook, a golden amber jar of remembered bliss. Thank you. Oh. And I've got 2 very, very short little poems. I hope that's okay. Untitled. I invite you into my emptiness, into my fuzzy edges, into my blue and white cloud sky, upwards into openness and peace. Thank you. And the final one, to pick up really Latoya's theme there, it's called Unbeaten Anahata. And Anahata is the name of the heart chakra, and it literally means unstruck or unbeaten, the middle chakra. The blows rain down across my shoulders and soul, like autumn leaves released by a tree that has grown tired of their weight. They flutter and settle in the hollows of my collarbones, the dimples in my thighs. I stand, shake them off, stride forward, unbeaten.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Please come back. Okay, anyone else want to read? Anyone else would like to read that I missed? Okay, would you like for me to read one? Okay, I've got 2 fairly short ones. The first one is called Underdogs, It's published this March by Alien Buddha Press. Maybe I won't erupt, said Kilauea. I thought so, said Alice. Symbol of the overwhelmed, face in hands, people of color, women, girls disappearing. What we have in common, being the underdogs. I always root for the underdog. It's my nature and a particular way of perceiving history. It burgles the truth otherwise. You accuse us of doing everything you commit. Gaslighting muddies the debate, blurs the truth in an evil mirror, shakes the house when you drive by, moves the glitter from room to room. My face pulls down with gravity. The blues, it's only natural. Ghosts are helpful guides through the morass. Juliet says hi, regretting her decisions. John Lewis says hello, regretting nothing. Persephone is back from her dark trespass, bringing the dark womb of potentiality. I learned to stand in my own over time. I paint on my cast every day like Frida. Keep me safe. Trapped in a body I can't control, but forever soothe. Spa time for my spirit, my wounded soul, betrayed in love early on. I'm learning to love me. Chris Rock says, play the tambourine if that's your thing. I have to shake it out, my truth, till the water runs clear and I'm at peace. Just a toy to you all. You held me the wrong way, evicted me from your heart, my hometown, an exile with a trail of dear teachers, friends who helped me walk on. We're still connected through time. Maybe I won't erupt today, I said. I thought so, said Alice. She never roots for the underdogs. We can't help the buildup inside us. Years of intolerance has an effect on this impasse. Vetting rage here and there is kind of all we've got. There is so little justice. Thank you. Thank you. This is one I wrote today. So we'll see. It's called Clear Choices. The flowers will come. It takes practice to nurture them. The feud runs deep. The war to end all wars, World War III. The flowers will return in spite of our beastly ways. Innocent angels grace us, teach us about purity of purpose. Ego and spirit battle within us, without us, no one will remember us, he says. A message to ego, holder of possessions. Spirit acts no matter the prize. Purity of purpose, compassion over greed. An ancient arms race, bronze, iron, cannon, machine gun, nuclear, mass ownership of assault rifles. How does it all go from here? Clear choices. Live a simple life, not crazed with owning more things, but experiences. Not an ancient race for real estate, resources. A vision of the earth healing, healed, abundant and glowing, heaven on earth as well as hell. Choose the love and light you believe in. There is peace in this purpose. Hope that love will prevail. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, you guys, what a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. I've had such a great time. Everybody was wonderful. And I'm saying wonderful one more time. Gosh, thank you all for being here. And next time will be March 26th. And the feature poet is the fabulous and erudite Finn Hall. And let me put this again in the chat here. Our feature poet, Gestalt on Facebook, and my website, where you can find out more. I just have to get it there.
And thank you for organising it, Amy.
Oh, you're so
very
welcome.
great. And can I just say one thing? During the course of the evening, I've suddenly started being able to read your names with my right eye. I couldn't even see the names. 3 hours ago or 2 hours ago or whatever it is. And I've just realised, to my utter astonishment, I can read with my other eye. I nipped off and put drops in it, which I have to do at certain times, but I'm overwhelmingly chuffed.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm amazed.
Yay! It's a miracle.
Yeah, well, it's been getting better each day. It was last Wednesday now, but I am reading with my right eye, which has traditionally been closed for 4 months. I'm reading the words Lesley Constable. So how's that?
That's right. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, poetry has magical powers.
Well, it just happened during it. I assumed such things would happen when I was asleep, you know. But I couldn't see writing at the beginning of this event, and now
It's
I
a
can read
poetry
words.
miracle. It's a
Must
poetry.
be the enrichment of my soul or something. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that is wonderful.
I thought you'd like to know that anyway.
Yes, thank you.
I probably wouldn't be if I did it now. I wouldn't be squinting. I can stop being a pirate. I can stop being a pirate, can't I? Yeah.
Pirates are accepted if they're nice. If they're nice.
Yes. Anyway.
Gosh, well, thank you guys so much. Everybody did so well. Everything was so good, and I look forward to the next time, March 26th. Y'all have a blessed evening. So good to see you.
Thanks again, everyone, for coming.
Yes.
Thanks, Amy, for having
Thanks
me.
again. Good
Thank
show,
you.
Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for being a wonderful host.